pilgrims. How's everybody?
Getting our second week today. This is a tortilla. Looks good. It's on a big piece of bread. They seem to like everything on bread here, but they do have good bread.
Eran las últimas horas antes de que se cerrara definitivamente el acceso para visitar.
Quite a relief to be done with the road walk for a while. We're now on a country road. It's an alternative route. Through this section there's many alternative routes, so we're sticking to the coastal for right now. Yes. Refreshment time again. Cheers. What? What's this? We've just finished day 8, stage 8, and that takes us to
Islares.
Islares. And we're checked into a hotel. We got here pretty early for us, so tonight's a good night to catch up on laundry and reading and thinking ahead for future days. But how was the day?
It was good. About 11.9.
Camino miles. Yeah, Strava said we had almost 15 miles with a 1,700 foot elevation gain and a whopping 2,400 calories. So.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to go put one of those beers back.
Yeah.
There was a lot of beautiful coastline walking today.
Yeah.
The ocean was really pretty, breaking on the rocks, and just this beautiful colors of blue.
The second beach that we walked by.
Yeah.
That was
the
blue green.
colors. I think this afternoon was one of my favorite times we've had so far this week.
Yeah.
And the temperature is perfect. It's about 72 degrees, and there's a breeze. The sun is intense, but in the shade, it's just gorgeous. The views today were gorgeous this afternoon. Now, this morning, admittedly, there was a bit of road walking, and for me, it's always a little nerve-wracking to have cars sweeping by you at, full speed, big trucks. This afternoon, it was a bus that surprised us on a very small, narrow road. But once you get out in the countryside and we're back on little narrow roads and you can just relax, it was perfect.
You walk into the eucalyptus forest and the temperature dropped about 10 degrees.
That was so nice.
It's fabulous.
We had a lunch stop at one of the bigger resort towns, Castro-Urdailes, I think it is. And because it was a good stopping point for lunch, but it also had a really interesting old castle and cathedral.
And we lucked out. We got into the cathedral before they closed.
Yeah, it's a Gothic era, but it has Templar carvings and features. It was quite different from a lot of the other ones, don't you think?
Yeah, it did. And even the structure inside was very, very different.
Yeah.
And the stained glass was amazing.
Yeah, beautiful stained glass. Yeah. And just on a little peninsula, kind of a big rock overlooking the city and the harbor. Really beautiful spot.
It was an amazing structure, one of the most unique churches that we've seen so far, both inside and outside.
Yeah, so outside we saw the flying buttresses as we were walking in. So we were like, oh, okay, flying buttresses. But we get inside and there's also buttressing inside the church. And that was really cool. Also, it looked bigger on the outside than it really was.
Yeah.
It looked like this massive cathedral, the kind you might find in Chartres or in Burgos. And when we got there, it was actually a lot more intimate in scale.
It was interesting that
A lot of the smaller churches that you pass through the towns are closed, which was different on the Princess. You could almost always go in there for a moment of reflection or just admiring the local church. And here, most of the small ones have been closed on the way, and even the bigger ones in the big towns have hours that they're open. So if you don't happen to arrive at the right time, you get to admire the outside, but you don't get to admire the inside.
And the inside is like a treasure box in a lot of these places.
Or even just that time to take a moment's reflection on why we're here in that little personal space. You kind of get focused on car noise and traffic and other pilgrims, and you have that little break of solitude, and you've got beauty and magnificent artwork and structure, so it's time for pause and reflection. And something else that's been neat, which I've really noticed the last 2 days, is there's been a lot of people saying Buen Camino along the way. All the bicyclists that went by, that woman that honked, and people on the trail. The first, we're day 8, and I really didn't feel that through until yesterday, day 7, where it was really noticeable that people were engaging us and recognized that we were pilgrims and on the Camino. And today, the guy that stuck his head out the window when it looked like we were going the wrong way,
In our defense, we were just going to grab a bite for lunch.
Yeah. He really wanted us to go on the Camino. We had to really convince him that we were off the path because we needed to eat lunch.
And once he understood that we were going for lunch, he said, well, then at the bottom of the hill, right or left, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
That's really kind of put it back in the Camino mood, which was kind of lacking the first few days. It was all touristy.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. But yes, it is nice to be recognized as a pilgrim and not just a tourist.
Walking through that limestone area, when we're walking on the road, and then all of a sudden we take this dirt path, and then we go into we cross this fence, and it's like medieval dark forest with bizarre limestone rocks, and then we get out of that, and that ram.
Oh,
it was amazing.
That was bizarre. I've never seen something like that. I don't see how he could see.
I don't think
Some big horns.
Yeah, that may be why he laid down and didn't get up and move.
He didn't seem bothered by us because he didn't see us. Yeah, we were walking across the top of a limestone karst today. So it's very eroded limestone. And it was really, it Looked like a fairy castle or something.
Yeah.
So different than anything we've walked through.
Now, for wildlife today, I'm going to count that I saw 2 English setters.
We saw 3 deer this morning. But it was
Yeah.
way too dark to take a picture, and they were way off in the distance.
They
Fast.
were way too
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
Actually, they were fairly close when we first saw them, but they were across that field and out of sight in just
Yeah.
Yeah,
no time.
blink of an eye.
And so, except for yesterday's bunny, the deer are the first real wildlife we've seen. Although we haven't been told that there are badgers in the area. Today, the sky has been completely cloudless, so everything we saw in this dazzling light. I hope that the video shows that.
Beautiful day all around.
Yep. Yep.
Thanks for joining us. Look forward to seeing you again soon.
Buen Camino.